and Lit Up came on. We had never heard our song on radio, and the whole van went silent, right? And we were like, oh my God, we just turned it up and listened to the whole song all the way through. And it was a amazing moment.
My name is Adam, and this podcast is all about you. It's your journey in music, and we'll talk about obviously the new record that you have out as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Did see that are you from Orange County area? Is that
yeah, born and raised in I was born in LA, but I grew up in Orange County. Yes, native Californian.
Cool. Same here. I was born in San Diego, but I'm in Nashville now, but Southern California.
Yeah. Nice.
Very cool. What was it like growing up there?
It was pretty interesting life because my mother and father are both from small towns in Oklahoma. So all my relatives live in Oklahoma, but they managed to come out to California and have a life there. And so I came that close to being like a little country boy. But yeah, I grew up surfing and skating, listening to punk rock music, typical, Southern California, Orange County kid.
Right on. And how did you get into music? Just through skateboarding and surfing?
I was always into music. It was always around my house. My mother used to put on records and clean the house, and I'd listen to all her records, my sister and I, and I always liked it. I always liked music, just any kind of music. She listened to like Rod Stewart and the Eagles and Kenny Rogers and like Willie Nelson, and I was into that. And then, cut to, I got into my own flavor of stuff when I was a teenager, with a lot of independent punk rock records like Black Flag, Minor Threat, Subhuman, stuff like that. And then I would sneak in my sister's room, and she was into all the Prince era bands like Prince, Apollonia 6, Sheila E., all those records at the time. I loved all that stuff too. So just I'm a huge fan, student of the game.
Right on. And when did you start playing? Like, what was the first instrument you learned?
Guitar. My sister had a boyfriend who was a singer, and he could play guitar. And so I kind of looked up to him, and he took me under his wing and taught me chords. And then I just started learning on the guitar, and, I had a real knack for writing words. That's how I got into my first band. I wasn't really a singer, and they just said, hey, you want to come down and audition for this band? We need a singer. And I go, all right. And, I just remember I wrote an original song that day on the floor, lyrics and melodies, and I just had a knack for it. And that was kind of like that was the spark, that was what was interesting for me. And then I developed my voice after that.
Oh, wow. So you went down, never been in a band before, and just auditioned for this group that needed a singer?
I mean, I knew a lot about music and bands and everything. So I wasn't like, I got my grandfather to buy me a microphone, and I just plugged it into the guitar amp. I just started screaming, and, I could navigate through it. Okay. I wasn't great, but I had a lot of passion. So I think that's what they liked about me,
That's awesome.
And that was it, and then I started conducting the rehearsal. I was like, fuck these like cover songs. Let's write an original song. And then I was like, hey, I said to the guitar player, I go, you got any riffs? And he's like, yeah. And he started playing like some original riff, and I got down on the floor and I just started writing, and it just came really naturally to me.
Wow, that's incredible. So, did you audition with a cover, or was it you just went and said, "Hey, let's try to do"?
Yeah, we were doing some covers. I think we were doing some. We were doing "Blister in the Sun," "Violent Femmes," and we did like "Should I Stay or Should I Go," stuff like that, and like some Led Zeppelin songs.
That's rad. And then did you guys? Was that the band Slamhound?
No, Slamhound was my first band that I started when I moved to LA when I was 19.
Okay, so this band was prior to Slamhound?
Yeah, this band, we called ourselves Natural Black.
That's actually a pretty good name.
We played, we were too young to play clubs, so we played all house parties in Orange County, that's where I cut my teeth. There's actually a song on the new record, Hellbound. The title track, Hellbound, is about the first show I did at a house party in Orange County, California. And that was when I knew everything had changed for me. There was no looking back.
That's amazing. That's really
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, so that band was just like you said, house parties. When did you move to LA? How long after you were in that band?
I was in that band, just during high school, and then I moved to LA when I was 19 and started Slamhound. And I was in Slamhound for I think 5 years. I can't remember, but we had gotten after 6 months of being in Slamhound, we were on the cover of Rock City News, which is the local mag there. We were doing really well, but we were really in bad shape. We were using a lot of drugs and alcohol, so we were a mess. But thank God that band didn't have any real success. I mean, we had some moments where we were gonna where we might have got on a label and stuff. We were on an independent label, and then we had Atlantic Records looking at us, and then just the whole thing imploded, and it was just bad. But and everybody kind of went off and did their separate things because we were a mess, So it was fun. It was a fun band, and a lot of piss and vinegar in that band, But my professional career didn't really start till I was 26.
Really? Okay. That band didn't get signed. What was Buckcherry was something prior to Buckcherry, right? Or was that wasn't Slamhound? That wasn't the same band?
No, Buckcherry started as the first name of Buckcherry was Sparrow.
Oh yeah, Sparrow. Okay. That's what it was. Okay. So that was years later then after Slamhound?
Not too long. I mean, I remember when Slamhound ended, I was really pretty devastated, and I loved that band. We worked really hard. We got an independent label and we made a record, and then the label lost all its financial backing, and that was it, and
yeah.
So that was kind of a drag. And so I took a second, and I cleaned up my act. I got sober at that time.
Wow. Congratulations.
So a lot of things happened before I actually started writing again. And then I got my mother to buy me a 4-track, and I just sat in my bedroom and wrote demos to like drum machines. And before I actually met Keith, and then we started working and with each other, and then we started the band.
Okay. Wow. And then that's when you guys got signed, right? To DreamWorks?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't right away, but we got signed.
With that band. Yeah. So tell me about those first shows.
Yeah.
Because at this point you could play clubs. And what were the early shows as a Sparrow like?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a really good time. I think at that point we just wanted to be happy.
Mhm.
I just know that Keith and I had both gone through our own kind of stuff with a lot of musicians. And musicians are, it's hard to get people that are very dedicated, and so we just wanted to be happy and make great music, and we weren't really thinking about much else, and so we went out there and we got on stage, and I was like wearing like a puffy jacket and a boa and a fucking cowboy hat and just ripping through songs. And this was right around the time when like all these kind of like shoegazing Weezer type bands, with the Buddy Holly glasses, and they're all looking at their shoes, and they got I call it like nerd rock, they all look like, and they're all laughing at us, and we're just like, fuck this. And we just went for it. And, we've been kind of like the black sheep of rock music since we started. There was that going on in like rap rock, and here we are. We were just a straight up rock band, and we kind of cut through all that, and it was it was unique. And I think DreamWorks saw what was cool about that, and thank God. And it all started.
Yeah, and that first record did awesome too. I mean, to come out the gate with such a great record.
Yeah, we gave DreamWorks their first gold record. They had just started, and that was pretty exciting.
That must have been so exciting. Like, wow, what a celebration getting that gold record, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's cool. That's cool. And then on that, I mean, with that, you guys did that crazy Woodstock in '99 and a bunch of gnarly shows, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was quite a journey. We were so green, and everything was new, and it was amazing. Lit up started hitting on radio, and we didn't know the power of radio at that time. We were at the time Lit Up started like happening on radio. We were in Europe for the first time playing with Kiss, and
Wow.
we didn't know what was going on in the States. And you know, at that time we were playing just small clubs in the States and just trying to build up a following without any radio. So there was like one show a week where it was crazy. And so we came back to the States. Lit Up had started gaining a lot of momentum on radio, and then we were in New Jersey, and we had a show in New Jersey, and our tour manager comes back and says, "Hey, the show's sold out tonight." I was like, "What? Sold out? We never even been here." And he, "How's that? How did that happen?" And he goes, "Well, Lit Up's been doing good on the radio and here." And I go, "Wow, that's crazy." And we played this club, and it was packed, and it was just like, wow, what is going on? And then at that time we were still in the van. We were in a, still in a van doing the van tour. And when you're in the van tour, you got to drive to the next location after your show. So here we are at like 3 a.m. in the van, and the radio's on, the rock radio, and Lit Up came on. And we had never heard our song on radio. And the whole van went silent, right? And we were like, oh my God, we just turned it up and listened to the whole song all the way through. And it was a amazing moment.
That's so special. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love hearing those stories. I've done radio for 16 years, and to hear bands like, oh my God, I heard my song on the radio for this. It's just so cool. I still think there's something so special about the radio.
It's really great when you're caught randomly, you're not like at a radio station and there your songs played, or, you're like somewhere,
right.
some weird location,
Unexpected,
and it comes on. Yeah.
That's killer. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys had some major success with that record, and then the next record came out. And was it hard to try to follow something up like that with your sophomore album?
Yeah, it was just a lot of. I mean, we worked really hard on that record. Time Bomb is the record, and it's a great record. And there was just some power struggles at the label at the time, and you get lost in the shuffle. It's like everything has to be working, that the synergy with your team and the label and the songs, and everything's got to be working. Timing is really important with records, and the timing on that was just it was tough, and we got through that and took a hiatus because a lot of the band members quit, and it was a rough time.
Yeah. And then you came back, obviously, with another smash, record.
Yeah.
Back out the gate. And that record, that one did even more sales, right? It was even bigger than that first record.
It was commercially our biggest record, 15, and everybody had written us off, and we had an amazing comeback story. It was amazing.
Yeah. How validating was that moment? I mean, just coming back and just showing everybody that you have
there's nothing like success. It's the best revenge for sure.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What were some of the, coming back like that? Were you getting on big tours again? What was it like coming back? And
yeah, that was a whole new level of roller coaster. Crazy Bitch is quite a phenomenon. It's to this day, it still sells a lot of units, and who would have thought? We just didn't think that song was going to do what it did. And it was an amazing ride at that time. We were on big festivals. We got to play with all of our heroes. It was crazy. We rode that wave for a long time.
That's cool. That's really cool. Would you say and then, I mean, you have 9 records out now?
Yeah, this is our 9th record, 22 years.
That's huge. I mean,
yeah,
that's something a lot of bands can't say. You know what I mean? They'll put out a record or two. You guys could have just called it a Time Bomb, right?
Yeah, a lot of bands. We've seen so many bands come and go. So many bands that were told us, oh, these guys are going to be like the next GNR or something like that. I can't even tell you how many times I've heard that. And I'm like, okay. And then it's like 1 and out, 2 and out, or whatever, and you never hear from them again. And it's sad, I mean, there's such a small percentage of bands that have longevity, and especially rock. Rock has taken the biggest hit over the years.
No, I completely agree. You have an incredible story. Just like I said, to have a huge record right out the gate and then come back with another insanely successful album.
Yeah, it's just we're driven and passionate, and we just keep going.
Through the 22 years, were you guys pretty much doing like record and then tour the record, tour the record? Was that kind of the cycle that you guys kind of followed?
That was the cycle. It was, I've literally lived my life on the road. It's been a lot of peaks and valleys, you know. But yeah, that's been the cycle. And, you know, 2 years on and go make a record, 2 years on and go make a record, you know, it's pretty much been a pattern of ours.
And how did that, like, I mean, when the world shut down in you know, 2020, what was that like? Like, were you guys working on Hellbound, or where were you guys at when that
No, we had a whole tour booked for the Warpaint record, and month after month started going away, and it was really challenging, and we had to scramble. And I was just like, hey, you know what? This is it. The whole year is gone. You know, we got to go to plan B. And like, I was like, where are we going to be when all the dust settles? You know, it's going to be 2 years since our last record. So we got to make some music. And I'm so glad that we got to focus on the songwriting of Hellbound, because it was just madness, you know, in the United States, you know, with so many things, you know, not only the election nonsense, COVID, the protests, the gun violence, everything, that, you know, the racism. It was insane. And so it was so nice to kind of channel our energy into this great record. And I think this is the best record Buckcherry's made, honestly. And so happy with it.
That's amazing. So did you guys even have a chance to tour on Warpaint at all?
Yeah, we toured. We did 156 shows in
Oh, wow.
2019.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're able to,
yeah, we did.
You're able to support the album. It wasn't like you
Yeah,
put
we
it out
toured
and it
a
was
lot.
like, okay.
Yeah.
That's so how quickly do you start writing Hellbound? Like, I mean, was it okay, let's see what we can do. Let's figure out if COVID's really gonna blow
Yeah,
over
I
or
want to say we started in April, but we may have started in March, I don't know, of 2020. You know, Stevie and I just started making demos, and that was it, every day, just back and forth, working on songs. We maybe took a day off a week, and then it was just making, you know, writing and writing and writing. And we wrote 28 songs for a 10-song record. So
wow.
it was a lot of songs, you know, and that's what you got to do if you want to make a great record for us, you know. So yeah. And then we the last week of writing, we flew to Nashville and wrote 6 songs in 5 days with Marti Frederiksen, and that was a crazy, amazing experience. And 5 of those songs made the record.
Wow. That is cool. That's so cool. How did, like, what made you guys come out here to work on the album?
You know, we've worked with Marti in the past. We've co-written songs. He's produced records of ours, and we just have a great relationship with him. And he's the producer on this record as well. And he lives in Nashville. And the label actually suggested, like, hey, you know, we want to fly you guys out. Why don't you guys do some writing with Marti? And we were like, yeah, let's go. And at that point, we had been working the songwriting muscle. We were ready, you know, because you know, Marti always lifts us up to a new level, you know, because he's a really talented guy, and we love being in a room with him. And so everybody's bringing their A game, you know, and it was really, we made a lot of progress. You know, it was like, we were songwriting machines. You know, I would go in the morning and record vocals for 2.5 hours. I'd come back to the hotel. Stevie and Marti would get together, and they would bang out a whole new musical composition. They would send me that music by like 5 p.m. I would write lyrics and melodies all through the night. And then the next morning I would come in and lay down vocals and melodies to that song, you know, and so on. And we did that for 5 days straight. It was nuts.
Oh my gosh. And you guys were able to crank out what, 6 songs, you said? 5 or 6 songs?
Yep. Yeah. 6 songs. Like Hellbound was written during that time. So Hot, You Wasted No More Time, No More Lies. It was amazing.
Wow. A lot of those singles too. I mean, So Hot was a single, the recent
Yeah.
single Hellbound. Like, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, there was this energy going on where we couldn't write a bad song. It was great.
That's so cool. Wow. Did you record the whole record there, or did you just end up doing those 5 songs there, or were those just demoed
Yeah,
out?
well, we did the 5 songs there, and then so those are like keeper vocals for me. I didn't have to re-record those vocals, and then so we did the week of songwriting. We came back to LA, and then we came back a couple weeks later and recorded the rest of the record. And that was it. Everybody did their parts. We were done in like, I would say 15 days. And then that was it.
Wow. Wow.
Hellbound was done. And so we were done in October of 2020 with that.
Wow. That's that's fast. Is that
Yeah.
one of the quicker records you guys have done?
You know, we make our best stuff quickly. You know, we spend a lot of time outside of the studio writing and rewriting songs and getting demos and making sure we have everything. Then we find out the songs we want, and then when we go in to just re-record them, we already know I've already sang them, you know, so we've already laid down all the parts before. So we're just like, at this point in time when we re-record them, we just want to capture like the performances, make the performances really great. And that's what we do. And it doesn't take us long, you know, because we've already been through the songs before, you know. That's the way 15 happened. We recorded that record in 15 days. That's why we called it 15.
Really? Wow. So about the same amount of time for this latest record too.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Were you guys when you were demoing the songs? Was it difficult to write with each other, or were you having to do it like virtually like this, or not so much?
No.
Okay.
Stevie lives 20 minutes from me, and
okay.
You know, I mean, we did our safety protocol, but you know, we didn't do anything. So it's like we weren't around any people. We were just in our homes, and you know, we just worked our asses off, you know.
It's nice not to have to deal with, I'm sure, the technology aspect. Like, it wasn't like you guys were all over the globe or anything like that. I've talked to a lot of artists where they have to try to adapt to like Zoom writing and everything else.
But you can start working on songs where like he'll just send me like music like in an email, and I'll have music and I'll just write lyrics and melodies at home. Then I just go over to his house, and then we kind of map it all out and record it, you know, and then put it together that way, you know. I mean, it's not like we're spending tons of time in a room together, you know.
The record's out, it's awesome, and the singles are doing really well. I saw that even the latest video has like almost 300,000 plays, or it maybe just cracked 300,000 plays. It was close.
So Hott's over 400,000, and the Hellbound's over 200,000. You know,
huge.
They're great videos, and yeah, we're doing really well. You know, we're grateful, and the shows are going off, and you know, one day at a time.
And you guys are able to tour. I did see you have a few dates in Texas.
Yeah.
What's the tour like? What's the tour schedule like for this album?
Right now, it's all the United States, and then we're going to the UK in November, and then hopefully Europe and Australia after that. You know, as long as they get their act together with the vaccines and all that.
Sure. Have you guys had a chance to play the record yet, or you've done some shows already, or not yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We've been out here for a month.
Wow. What was it like playing for the first time in front of people? That must have been like people's first show, you know, back in a year plus.
You know, we did a bunch of socially distanced stuff in 2020. You know, we did probably 15-20 shows in 2020, and then we did we've already done before the Hellbound tour started, we did like maybe 6 shows. So you know, we knew what it was going to be like, but now it's like different. It's like the way it used to be because of, you know, the vaccines, and so people are, it's a lot different now. But before, we had to do all the safety protocol. People had to be socially distanced. At some shows, we had like temperature bands and stuff like that.
Wow. I haven't seen the temperature band thing, but I can imagine the energy now back at the shows has got to be exceptional compared to the socially distant ones.
It's great. You can tell people are so happy to just congregate and just do something, you know,
sure,
get out of the house.
Be around people without a mask and all that.
Yeah.
Know? That's cool. That's awesome. I mean, the record's rad. I just watched a couple of the videos before I got on the call with you, and I love what you're doing, man. It's awesome.
Cool, man.
The fact that you guys have been doing this for 22 years now, that's something to be said, you know?
Yes, sir.
That's so cool. Well, and thank you so much, man, for chatting with me today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I have one more question for you. Do you have any advice for aspiring artists?
Wow, there's so much advice. It's hard to condense it. Aspiring artists. Yeah, you know, first and foremost, you better be passionate about what you do. You know, if you're not passionate, it's probably not going to work out. So passion is first and foremost. Massive action. What are you doing? What are you doing every day to further yourself? You know, you got to be in it to win it. You know, and you got to cut off the lifeboat. That's my suggestion. You know, don't have anything to fall back on. You know, or chances are you won't succeed. You know, so those are really important points that I had to learn, and you know, and then get a good attorney when all the when the money comes. Make sure you have a good attorney, because that's when the vultures come.
Bringing it backward.